It's weird that you can actually feel that your thoughts are located in your head. Like, try it, and you can tell. It's weird. Greetings, gamers, and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host, Connor Monroe, and I am in a lot of pain. If you're new here or haven't yet, help me feel better by hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you want some perks, you should ring that notification bell to join the clan and level up. Pokemon trainers start off young. At 11 years old, you get your first Pokemon and completely abandon your family and school to go out on a quest alone around the world, like everyone who has played the game has already been. But what Pokemon are a little weird to get right off the bat? That's what we're exploring with today's list of the top 10 Pokemon that are weird for young trainers to hang out with. Roll the intro. And at 10, Mr. Mime. You know why. And at 9, I'm just kidding, I'll actually talk about it. If it ever becomes Mr. Mime time around any young trainer, you need to pull them away as quickly as possible. Mr. Mime is a psychic type Pokemon and is most well known in the Pokemon fandom as being a creeper. Aw man. The most iconic Mr. Mime pose is honestly just a reminder of the fact that there is no conceivable way that he should be around anyone. Typically referred to as the creepiest Pokemon, Mr. Mime looks like he wants some grapefruits off a tree, if you know what I mean. This Pokemon is also a mime, and mimes are just silent clowns, meaning that since they're so good at being quiet, they are essentially master assassins. You think you're getting away? Oh bam, you're in a box. And now think of that, being able to actually create a real box around you as we see in Detective Pikachu. Since you can't get through the barrier, Mr. Mime could just make the box move with a trapped kid inside. Like, what could you do to stop that? Do you think that Pokemon has like a version of PETA where they're like against Pokemon battles but like beat Pokemon in their own facilities? Team Galactic. And at 9, SNOM. Every time I talk about a scary or weird Pokemon, I need to talk about the fan account created for SNOM. SNOM is an ice/bug type Pokemon added in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and he looks like if you infused a booger with porcupine DNA and created some like weird like flubber porcupine thing. I can't describe it. The fan Twitter account for SNOM started off pretty weird, talking about how his friends were playing poker with him. One of his friends is Slenderman, even making himself an SCP, as well as saying that he will wipe out humanity with one ice beam. If that's not enough, on January 20th of this year, he started a new storyline where he meets Eevee at the Garden of Eden and gets her to try an apple. She does, and turns out that SNOM gets sent to hell, where a weird anime body pillow figure is Satan and is guiding him through the Minecraft Nether. And a few days ago, the story was updated to include Satan leading him to meet Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's just chilling in a pool of lava like a hot tub. That's more of like something Chuck Norris would do. Chuck Norris once made a snowball out of rain. When Chuck Norris does push-ups, the earth moves instead of him. Chuck Norris once used Mount Vesuvius as a hot tub. Wait, maybe he ripped one and then that's why it erupted. Sorry, Pompeii. And at 8, QUAGSIRE. QUAGSIRE is just a weird Pokemon. He's a tall blue blob of fat, or whatever Pokemon are made of. He just seems too friendly, like he hangs out at a park all day after it's been pouring rain and waits for a child to come along with his friends, you know, that kind of thing. He runs around all day covered in mud because that's the only place you can ever find him. It's where it's muddy, because that's where he resides. Because he's a ground and water type. You hate the fact that these damn kids are dragging mud through your house? Well, imagine if they hung out with QUAGSIRE. They would literally have to be in the shower for hours to get all the mud off. And QUAGSIRE sounds a hell of a lot like Quagmire, and I think we all know where that's going.
Watch as I have sex with this potentially dangerous man as we take you in-depth and undercover.
I've never had a Spanish chick before. Oh.
If you don't, then that's too bad, because I really can't get into it on YouTube. And at 7, GARDEVOIR. Look, people can be into whatever they want and I'm not really shaming anyone, so you can calm down with your angry comments. But come on, Pokemon waifus that are actual Pokemon has gotta be the weirdest thing. I remember as a kid accidentally being exposed to this at school while working on a project about something we love. I loved Pokemon, so I searched up the first one that came to mind, GARDEVOIR, because I had been trying to get one to help complete my decks at the time. And the first images that show up were about why some people love GARDEVOIR. I don't know why the school Wi-Fi didn't block it, but I got heavily reprimanded and nobody believed my true reasoning. Why would I do that at school, of all things, if I was really going to do that? Rule 34 is a thing, sure, but why would I have known about it in grade 6 and actively had tried to look it up in the school library? And at 6, LOPUNNY. LOPUNNY is on the list for the same reason as the last one, except this time, it's even worse. It's a rabbit, people. And Nintendo, why you gotta design this thing to be thicker than Kim K's wallet after it started doing the revenge body workout like a month ago? They even designed this thing to have its own weird, interests. Its ears are delicate, but if they are touched too roughly, it will kick you with its graceful legs. Like, why on Arceus's green earth would you allow this to happen, Game Freak? The horrifying imagery that has been associated with this Pokemon is enough to have anyone be confused if their child is hanging around one too much. This could even be some weird, definitely illegal Oedipus complex thing, where they see it as a mother. Wait, now that I think about it, would it actually be illegal? Because humans and Pokemon used to copulate. They used to be considered one and the same. Perhaps the only difference is that humans are doms. And at 5, PROBOPASS. PROBOPASS may be a weird pick, especially after the last two, but hear me out. PROBOPASS is basically a giant floating nose with another nose on top. If that's not weird enough, its arms are also another set of noses with noses on them. And that mustache is very reminiscent of one certain world figure who is very infamous for doing certain things to a certain group of people. Not being specific. The stash aside, actually no stash aside. We don't know where this Pokemon's loyalties lie. He could be a secret member of a certain faction. Or he could be out for personal world domination. How are we supposed to know? The only damn thing he can say is his name, for God's sake. And if you don't think that his arms are noses, the Pokedex literally calls them mini noses. There is also one on his back. I only wish this shiny was green, but instead it's yellow like a really old snot rocket. In at 4, Muck. Aside from the name spelled backwards, Muck is just a moving pile of poison waiting for anyone to become unsuspecting enough so that he will actually have an opportunity to take them out. This moving pile of 3-year-old Krispy Kreme glaze is not for children. The whole thing can be a mouth or none of it at all. It has an arm always reaching out towards you as if it wants you to suffer as it did by the hands of its father. Plus, this Pokemon can smell like sewage, making this probably the worst Pokemon ever. Imagine getting a little bit of that on your favorite shirt. You would literally never be able to get it off, and it would smell terrible. Going back to the kids dragging in mud analogy, imagine they dragged in a muck, and he covered your floor in corrosive poisonous sludge that smells worse than me after Taco Tuesday deals at Taco Bell when I've had nothing else to eat that day. I actually kinda want Taco Bell now. And at 3, Entei. You're not my dad! Because you're a damn Pokemon! In Pokemon the Movie 3, Entei is brought to this world from another dimension, and a young girl named Molly believes he is her father. And instead of correcting the poor girl, he goes along with it.
I don't care if you're a real Pokemon or not, you can't take the place of her real father!
I am Molly's real father, as long as that is her wish.
Sure, he may say because it's her wish or whatever, but that's still weird. Especially when he kidnaps Ash's mother so that Molly can have a mother too. Like, what the hell? This is like the kid-friendly Pokemon version of Lolita if you ask me, and that's saying a lot. To a point where my blood is starting to boil even mentioning it. If you ever see a kid hanging out with an Entei, make sure you stay weary of the conversations they have. And if you even hear one of them mention the word dad or daddy, get your kid the hell out of there. And at 2, Hatterene. When Sword and Shield got released, it blew up. And this was for sure going to cause some fans to create fan art and inside jokes. But out of all the fan art generated, did we really need to do this to Hatterene? This new fairy psychic type Pokemon has been morphed into worse situations than Gardevoir or Lopunny. Even before the game came out, artists started compromising her appearance. And since she only spawns as a female, I'm guessing you know where this is going. But the body that made her famous isn't a part of the actual body. It's more of a protective layer that acts like a shell. Her actual body is visible in the translucent suit, and especially if you go into Gigantamax forms. But nonetheless, this Pokemon has been marked, and it also hates strong emotions and will attack if it senses them. And kids only have strong emotions, so it'll just kill your kids. Finally, and at number 1, HYPNO. If you are an 11-year-old child and you see a HYPNO coming at you in the woods, HYPNO the out of there and start running. This Pokemon is literally the predator of these games, luring kids into the woods and causing them to fall asleep so it can eat their dreams. But the only way it can eat dreams is by having some sweet brain stew. Anyone having good dreams, it will carry off according to the Moon Pokedex, and HYPNO has got to be the weirdest thing ever. Its pendulum is its life, allowing it to find new victims and put anyone it wants to sleep. And when you're asleep, it will be able to do whatever it wants. Hypno is a creep, and I don't care what you say to fight it. There we have it, friends, the top 10 Pokemon that are weird for young trainers to hang out with. Which Pokemon did you know would be on this list rather than number 1? And are there any Pokemon you expected to see but didn't? Let me know in the comments, and on your way down, if you enjoy, be sure you hit like and subscribe for daily gaming content and ring that bell to join the clan and level up. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Shall Remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.